In the chicken business,
Yeah.
what do you do with all the chickens and what do you do with all that's left over, and how is this actually being profitable for both of you?
Okay, so I don't want the storyline here to be, though, that Tyson has great trash. Okay, we're going to do better than that. But if you look at our business, we bring in two types of raw materials. First, the animals, the cattle, the hogs, and the chickens, which we process, or the other non-protein items, and then we bring in the raw materials we need to process those, right? So on the animal side, we're incredibly efficient. All we lose is the cluck, the moo, and the oink, right? And so we create value streams for all of the parts of the animal. Some go into animal food, some would go into pet food, some go into renewable fuels, those type things. So if you look at that stream, we're incredibly efficient. If you look at the other raw material stream, then that's the stream that generally creates some waste. And that's where great partners like Waste Management come in. And what David and his group have done with us is both support and challenge us to be as efficient as we can and to try to create as many value streams as we can. For example, let's take our pork division. It's kind of the freshest on my mind. We began with one of our pork plants to work through what we were doing to create waste that could not be valued up, right? So it may be organic contaminants on corrugated material and that type of thing. So they worked with us on programs.
Can I just interrupt? Can you explain that? I mean, you cannot recycle, apparently, corrugated cardboard if there's oil on it.
Right, because that's generally going to get sent back into the corrugated plants, which are then going to make packaging materials out of it. So we have to keep the streams separate and clean. So they worked with us on a program where we could train our team members, the value of those waste streams, but then efficient processes to separate the plastics, the wood, the corrugated materials, and that type of thing. And so kind of fast forwarding where we are today in our pork plants, about 70% of our waste stream is now recyclable. So very efficient, and it's been a great success story for us.
It really brings home the point, right? Which is, when Donnie said it, what he's doing is lowering that conversion cost, right? I mean, we can't do anything about what we can sell that cardboard for, let's use, or plastic or metal on the back end. Those are markets that we don't set the prices on. But what we can do is affect those conversion costs up front. So if we can lower the conversion costs now, even if the cardboard value comes down, it's still profitable to recycle. They can still save money doing it. And so that's what they've done. They've trained their folks to lower the processing costs, right? And that is what's going on. That's why I say you can't think of recycling as a homogeneous whole, because a business like Tyson has every incentive to do that because they can save money.
You are actually making a profit on recycling at the moment.
Yeah, we cover the cost, not by much, but we make some profit on what we recycle. Yes.
And that's after taking into account even the 30% that you can't recycle.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And so but when you look at residential recycling, different animal, right? I mean, that's what we've done in the last 10 years is we've tried to drive recycling rates up by doing what we call single stream recycling, put everything into one bin, right? Remember, when recycling first started, it was sort of done the way Tyson did it, which is we asked the consumer to separate it, and that drove down the conversion costs. We could do it profitably, but the problem was it was difficult for the consumer, and so you couldn't get as many consumers to do it. So we then moved to single stream recycling, mix all the components together, and we'll recycle it. We haven't done a very good job of educating the consumer as to what can be put into those bins. So the recycling rate goes up, but the contamination of the material, that cardboard with oil on it, goes up also because people put the wrong things in those containers. What does that do? Drives up the processing cost, the value on the back end goes down, and all of a sudden that's how recycling becomes unprofitable.
When you look at those single stream recycling bin, how much of what's in there should not be in there?
Well, it depends on what city you're in, but we have contamination
smarter and
rates.
smarter recycling cities?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We have contamination
smartest?
rates anywhere from 20% to 50%.
Wow.
I mean, when you have 50% contamination in recyclable materials, that's garbage.